Right, hello, my darlings. I'm Faith from Faith and Grits, and I'm here for the 100 Days of Junk Journal Ideas, hosted by Rich and Bella and all her sort of amazing team of human beings over there. So please follow along. Most of you probably are here. It's how you've sort of found me. But yeah, the collaboration, we've had 8 weeks of some phenomenal ideas and creativity. So please check the link down below for Rachel's website. She will have the contributors as well with clickable links to their channels. So we're in week 9 now. So week 9 and week 10 are up. Week 9 is all about eco and upcycled junk. So we've had Angela Kerr yesterday, or Rach and Bella. We've got Angela Kerr, me and my little baby channel, Bumblebee Crafts, Beyond Brass, Visualized in Z, Papercraft D. Next week, then we got Rach and Bella, Steph over at Hilltop View, Jez at Not Jez That Creates, Kelsey Thomas, Artful Crafts, Bumblebee Crafts, and Cheryl's. So, yes, very excited. So, for my idea for eco and upcycled junk, I'll explain now without getting too tongue-tied. I'm working with the Eco Still in Nature kit, and I've done me up a signature here of papers, and I want to show you how to take the most unwanted, unloved thing that you can find in a charity shop, which are these old 4x6 photo albums, right? And I find them here for less than £1, like 50 pence I pay for them. And you've got probably, there's probably more than 50 sleeves in this. So I'm going to show you how to turn that into a beautiful interactive center spread. Doesn't have to be a center spread for your journals. So lovely interactive elements, all flippies and flappies going every which way. Plenty of room in here to continue to play. So I want to show you now how I go about putting mine together and the thought process behind it. So I hope you'll stick around and enjoy. Please like, subscribe, leave me a comment. And if you've ever used these and you've done them in different ways, please let me know. And I hope you all enjoy. Back in a tick. Right, photo album pockets. There are different kinds that you can find in the charity shops. Small little ones like that. Some of these, the plastic can be quite thicker than others, which means once you start filling them, they'll be thicker again. Some of these, though, once you free them from the albums, you don't have, you don't have very much room here to play with from sort of what I call the factory edge of the pocket. So, not unusable, but you have to attach them in different ways. Ones like this that get freed from albums are very much like glued together. So once you get one freed, you have just a wedge that's only attached on 2 sides, but still quite thin and usable. Again, black ones like that. So if you check the factory edge where it's been bound, sometimes you end up with a little bit more space to start attaching things. This will make sense in a minute. These I really don't like at all. Once you start, I don't find them very sturdy. They're a good source of paper for upcycling, but the pocket is only attached, show you, on those 2 little punches there, and they don't tend to hold up. But again, a source of paper anyway. My go-to photo album pockets are these. And I actually won a bet in a charity shop once because the guy said all the girls in the back told him to throw them all away because they would never sell. So when I came in and bought them, he won the bet. But they're the old 4x6 ones that flip up, and you get a lot of pockets in one of these. I mean, a lot. And like on this one, all you do to free the pages is just pull them. And what happens is you've got a nice wide sort of factory edge there to work with. And they're quite thin, and you can fill both sides, depending on the direction that you mount them. So before I get stuck into the Eco Stella Nature version I want to make today, I want to show you 2 examples of ways I've done them in the past. So give me a tick, let me go and grab them. So here's a couple of examples of the way I've used them before. This was my Junk Journal January from last year. And the prompt for Junk Journal January that day was interactive. So sorry, there's a little bit of a glare on these pockets. But no, I've got a tag in there, a tag in here, and as you can see, I've sewn the bottom through my sewing machine, and these have been sewn directly onto the page in the journal. Yes? So those 2 tags there flip out. 2 more tags are in there. Then I have this sort of interactive page where I've cut the pocket down, but you've got to remember when you cut down to size, you've got to keep that factory edge. So again, here I've got little bitty tags in here and a little bitty tag in there, and those flip to have a tag on either side. But then on the page I've got another one that flips up that has tags in both sides, and another one that flips over. It's got little bitty tags, and then another one in the center that's got 2 tags. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 tags on one page. And the same on that side. I've got 2 there, I've got 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, and 2 there. All different sizes. So that's kind of the idea. And then in my boho one I made ages ago, I made following along Rachel's boho collaboration she did. I can't remember when that was. But that's using the full size pockets as flippy flaps on the page. So again, sorry for the glare, but on these I've attached them with washi and sewn through the washi, glued the washi to that factory edge and sewn through it to attach it to the page. So I've got 2 tags in each one, and they're quite easy to get in and out. So so they are quite easy to get in and out, because like in the old-fashioned photo albums, to put your photo back in, you would just pull your finger on the plastic and just slide them back in. Saying that on camera, that one's a bit snug. There we go. It had to happen like that on camera, honestly. But no, I think they offer a really good sort of interactive element to a journal. So the next stage then is to have a go. I've got a little signature here done up with the Echoes of Nature pages, and I want to do a sort of flippy floppy interactive bit on that center page. So I need to go and gather some things together, and I'll pop back on and we'll go through the process together. So back in a tick. Right, so I've decided where I want my flaps. I want a full one on that side, and then I want one on the top and one on the bottom. And of course these are going to be too long, so I need to trim those down. So I'm reckoning about 4 inches. So to one side of this now. line it up. Try not to be too long-winded with this video. And slice it off. Now that little piece goes back in my box. And then if I've got a project, I might try to add some of the smaller ones into the tall skinny. We'll see. Because initially I thought to do a page spread in the tall skinny, but the photo album pockets are too wide for the tall skinny. It left me scratching my head for ages. So now I want one at the top there, one at the bottom, and I'll put one on the side. So I need to do the same now. I'm short one pocket. Hold on. That's why the scoreboard's out. I'll show you now. Do these two down to 4 inches. Am I on camera? Yes. There we go. So that can be the top and the bottom. And get one more out. And again, when you're tearing these, just tear them, sort of pinch one side and just pull. And you'll end up with a bit of a fuzzy edge, but you can trim that fuzzy edge off if you want, or leave it. Doesn't matter. But on that factory edge, I want to crease on my scoreboard just on the other side of where that white paper is. I just find it's easier when you go to start attaching it with the washi tape to know it. You're basically putting a score down where that natural fold is in the photo album. And you don't have to, but I've just found if you do that before, they flip and flop better. So that's got a little bit of a fuzzy edge on it, but it's fine. So that then will go that side. And the possibilities are endless, really, as you can see. So I've chosen a bit of washi tape to go on there. But before that, I need to decide what needs to get stitched shut and what doesn't need to get stitched shut. So for this one, on that pocket, I want, before I do that, I want to ink them. Let me show you what I mean. Where have they gone? There they are. Right, you can ink these, but you need a solvent-based ink like StazOn. If you try to do this with your Ranger ink or your VersaFine Clair, it'll just come right off. So that's an example. Where's that yellow piece gone again? Oh, it's gone. Never mind. So that's your example of it inked. And then you can also go on them with texture paste. So I put a bit of washi on there to protect the edge. Pull that off. So you can go on them with texture paste as well to add a more detail. I'm not doing texture paste on this one today because I won't have time. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So for these, I want to give it a bit of color before I stitch the bottoms on. So I won't do all of these on camera, but just to show you. Because StazOn dries really quickly. So I want a sort of, I just want to do the edges a little bit. Just the edges of the pocket. There we go. And very subtle. And I'll then go back and do all of these off camera. So when you get a tag stuck in there, you've got that ever so subtle sort of edged effect on the top of the pocket. So, and then before they get, the bottoms and the sides get sewn, my clips out. To keep it straight in my head before I move this to the sewing machine, I stick a clip on the side that needs closing up. So on those, it would be this side that needs sewing shut. And on that one, I'll have that side sewn shut. Yes. So those pull out this way as it flops in and out. And that one goes the other way. And then that one will go there out of the top. I hope that makes sense. Or shall I do them this way? No, stick with the original plan. That way and that way. Yes? So I'm going to ink and then get the sides and the bottoms sewn shut, and I'll pop back on. Back in a tick. Right, I was so sorry for the glare here. I don't know. Try to move it around. I'll hold it up to show you now. So I've just closed up the sides that I wanted closed up. I've inked both sides now. And to show that sort of subtle effect, I've got a scrap here from the kit. So you've got that sort of subtle effect going on around whatever cards I end up putting in there. So I've cut that scrap down to 3 3/4 because, of course, these are 4 by 6 pockets because you want that little bit of wiggle room to get in and out. So like on this one, let's try that one again. Pop the card in there. So you're going to have that sort of really subtle effect going around the edges. So, right, the next thing then is just to attach them. And to say, most importantly as well, if you don't have a sewing machine and you don't sew, it's easily done with just washi tape and glue as well. You just got to work out where you want everything to go, really. So get these taped on, and I'm not gluing these because I'm going to run them through the sewing machine. But if you don't sew, of course, you glue your washi down. But you could use washi, you could use lace, you could use all sorts. So I just want to go on up to that, where that sort of factory edge bend is. So right up to that edge, and then pop it down where I want it in the book. Making sure, as you're going along, that you know you've got clearance. And that it's going where you want it to go. So, of course, once those are down, and secure in place, you've got a lot of sort of interactive elements, and you just need to make sure they all, especially if you're overlapping them, to make sure that they all don't interfere with each other. Difficult to see from the angle I'm at. There we go. So that one will be, so I'm going to make sure that one then fit on top of that one. And of course I want this one to go underneath. The washi wants to move now. Stay there a minute. And they will until they're actually glued or secured in place. So do this one. Right to the edge. Straight as I can without putting my head between the camera and what I'm doing. And then get that one stuck down there. So that will flap down, over, down. So that's all there is to it, really. So I'm going to get these stuck down and get them run through the sewing machine, and then I'll come back on to show you. Back in a tick. So back now, and also all sewn in. As you can see, you've still got your stitching comes through on the other page, but that's fine. This other page, who knows what's going to become of it yet. So I've got my Flippy Flappies all attached. Again, no glue in these, just the stitching, and I'll show you a close-up of the stitching now. You could go in and still add glue if you want, but I find this is plenty secure enough. So if you notice on the bottom here, that zigzag stitch is going up towards the interior of the pocket. And then what I've done on the washi is I've reversed it so that the strongest side of the stitch is up against that factory edge. I hope that makes sense. So all the way around, each bit of washi has had that stitch put in. You could use whatever stitch you want. I prefer this one because I like the way it looks on the other side. So I just need to fill these pockets now with some loveliness. So before I go off and do that, remember these are made for 4x6 photos. A 4x6 journal card is going to be far too snug to go in and out. So you know from the factory edge over, I'd say 3 3/4 I'm going to do mine. And then you just need to check for height because, of course, that would have been a 6-inch photograph. But with my stitching on there now, you're looking at it. Hold on, let me turn this light off. That helps. Well, it's a bit darker, but take the glare off anyway. So with the stitching at the bottom, I'm looking at about 5 3/4 height. But then I'll put something on the top of each one that allows it to be pulled in and out. So as you can see, I haven't left a great deal of clearance there for a topper to go on that one. So that might have to go on top. But those will be all right. But yeah, just checking it as you go to make sure that your interactive elements aren't interfering with each other. So let me go and play with some paper for a moment, and I'll be back in a tick. Right, and I'm back. So my darlings, I've got some little tags cut out from some of the pages from Echoes de la Nature, and I've just added some sort of lacy bits stapled on the top. I haven't done anything to the backs of them yet. I'll leave that till the journal gets underway. And that's just from my squirrel jars. I keep all these little bits. I keep one of these jars by my sewing machine. And little bits that get trimmed off go into a squirrel jar. So let's fill this up. I've left that overhead light off a moment, just so to take away the glare a bit. So again, you just fold that little with your thumb, give the plastic a little pull, like you would in certain photos years ago, and stuff the pockets in. So the pages are lovely. Now the only thing I would have done different with this one is I should have moved my side flap down a little bit, because I can't put much of a trim on that because it's going to interfere with that top pocket. So that was just me rushing and not sort of doing a double check before I stuck everything down. But it doesn't matter. It's still, you know, and once you start putting chunkier tags in here, you're not going to notice the difference. Like in my boho one, some of those tags are stuffed and interactive and stuff, and it just builds up. So let's get this side, and hopefully I'm on camera and that glare isn't too bad. I didn't even think about that when I started this. The glare in the video from the lights. Get my little tag stuffed in there. And I think it looks quite effective with that very subtle inking on the plastic. And last few, come on. You think everything goes smooth until you turn the camera on, isn't it? Get that one in. And the last one, there we go. We've got a center spread for the journal that's not too bulky. And full of interactive interests in, and you can always add things underneath your flaps as well. It's just a matter of working it all out before you start and using a bit of an imagination. So no, very pleased with that. I hope you've all enjoyed. From the humble photo album, Unwanted, Unloved, you can do so much with these because, again, that factory edge gives you a lot of room to work with. And what I didn't mention as well before is you can also just stick them together to be inserts in a journal as well. So there's lots of ways to play with them. But no, that's all from me. Thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you to Rach. And check out all the other lovely collaborators. I hope everyone's enjoying, following along. I know I have. And thank you to Rach and her team of brilliant human beings over at Rach and Bella's for allowing me this opportunity. So thank you ever so much. Bye for now.